There may soon be tougher penalties for people who bully children online. The Senate passed legislation today and now goes on to the House. The measure ends the requirement that a course of conduct be established to punish someone who bullies a child online. The bill is named Grace's Law 2.0 after 15-year-old Grace McComas. The Howard County teenager took her own life back in 2012 after repeated online bullying. The safety of our kids weighs heavily on all of our minds. For nearly 2 weeks now, you have crammed into school classrooms, auditoriums, cafeterias. You've talked about it at work, at home, at church. And after 2 weeks, we are still having a lot of questions, a lot of opinions and ideas. And tonight, hundreds more will rally in Harford County. ABC 2's Eddie Kadam is at John Carroll School. Eddie, who put this meeting together?
Jamie, this one was put on by the Harford County Sheriff's Office. This was such a hot button topic that it sold out of 1,000 tickets in just 48 hours. And you can see this line of people waiting to get in here tonight. The meeting, of course, comes in the wake of the school shooting in Florida and after numerous unfounded threats to schools in Harford County. The latest one, a threat on Snapchat aimed at Havre de Grace High School. I was at a meeting earlier this week that the school board put on. The parents there, they brought up things like door stoppers, a walkie-talkie for every teacher, and metal detectors in schools. Now, the parents tonight here, they're bringing up some of the same things. Now, school safety officials say they're looking at things like the ALICE training. That stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. And for the people who aren't able to get in tonight, tonight's meeting will, of course, be broadcast on Harvard Cable Network. That'll be online and on TV. And I'm going to be in the meeting. I'm going to be tweeting throughout the night and on Facebook. And I'll have a full report coming up on ABC 2 News at 11. Live in Bel Air, Eddie Kadam, ABC 2 News.
All right, Eddie, you know, when many of us know something bad may happen, we take steps to make sure it won't. Well, that's the idea behind a new law proposed in Annapolis. It's called the Red Flag Law. And as ABC 2 News' Don Harrison tells us tonight, it allows anyone that sees signs of someone making threats to themselves or others, you can go to the court and have that person's guns taken away.
Violence usually doesn't happen without the perpetrator sending out some signal.
Delegate Geraldine Valentino Smith would like to do something about those violent warning signs. That's why she proposed a red flag bill. That bill would allow anyone with concerns of a friend or family member's mental health to go to a judge and have the courts take that person's firearms away until they can prove to the courts their mental well-being.
I'll agree it's time for us to start an avenue where people can go to the courts, have a reasonable discussion, meet a standard of proof, and make sure the gun is taken before any further violence happens.
Other states have the law and have seen results.
But that it's actually had a bigger role in stopping suicide.
My mother raised 5 kids, all between 5 and 15.
Dorothy Paul's mother raised 5 kids by herself because Paul's father shot and killed himself when she was 9. 5 years ago, Paul's son followed in his father's footsteps and killed himself as well. She wonders what a law like this could have done for her family.
I think it could have intervened on behalf of my father and changed our lives dramatically for generations.
Cheryl Brooks got a call from her son telling her he just bought a gun. She was able to talk him out of using it then, and her son promised to go get help, but she could not get the gun away from him.
On Valentine's Day in 2014, he used that gun to end his life.
To protect.
Angela Also Brooks is the PG County State's attorney. Last week, Officer Ramzadeen was killed by someone in his community that many in the neighborhood knew was a threat.
And it would have been wonderful to be able to have a neighbor have the ability to go to the court and request a legal, one of these protective orders.
In Annapolis, Don Harrison, ABC 2 News.
And this red flag law or gun violence restraining order is picking up steam. Right now, next week, a similar measure is going to be introduced in the U.S. Senate. It has the backing from both members of both parties and has gained support among Second Amendment advocates. A man is dead after an early morning fire. It broke out in a home on Tremaine Court in Windsor Mill around 2 o'clock this morning. Police say the man may have gotten a little disoriented and could not find the door. The management company that owns the property says there were working smoke detectors inside the home, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. There's a viewing going on right now for a college football player who was murdered. It's taking place at Howell Funeral Home until 8 o'clock tonight. Lawrence Aaron III was shot at a New Year's Eve party in Severn. He died last week. Nobody's been arrested yet. Aaron graduated from Oakland Mills High and was a football player at Marshall. His funeral will be held tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning at Bridgeway Community Church in Columbia. Baltimore County Police have now found the driver believed to be involved in a deadly hit and run in Lansdowne. It happened on Tuesday night. Following a tip because of you, officers were able to find the car with front-end damage on Wiedemann Avenue in Linthicum, and were told the driver lived nearby and confessed. Officers arrested Lloyd Willie and charged him with hit-and-run violations and driving without a license.
And we have rain moving through the area right now, mostly cloudy conditions, and the winds are going to pick up as we go into the overnight. And even though we have some snow and rain in the forecast, it will be the wind that's going to steal the show over the next 24 hours. Let's break down what's going on. If anything, the rain is just evidence of an area of low pressure that's going to bring the winds later tonight. And here's its current location moving through the Midwest. It's also going to combine with an area of low pressure that's still in the process of developing just south of it. As these two storm systems combine, that's going to kick up the winds. Currently, though, they're just producing some rain for us. But for the day tomorrow, a high wind warning is in effect. Dangerous winds will be likely. Therefore, some power outages and some trees could fall. This is the wind forecast. Look how they skyrocket as we go into your Friday morning. So coming up in the full forecast, we'll give you the full details on this high wind event and let you know what life will be like on the other side of this storm.
All right, life is good right here. The students of the famous Cardinal Sheehan Choir are lending their voices to a benefit concert for their school tomorrow night. Angels. That's what they sound like, angels. The concert to raise money for the Faye Wilkes Perry Scholarship Fund, which covers tuition costs for several 8th graders. The Cardinal Sheehan Choir has had an exciting past couple of months, performing on national TV like Good Morning America and The View. After their rendition of Rise Up went viral, and they say the fame and nothing hasn't gone our heads. All this attention just reminds them of why they love to sing.
I love being a part of the choir because I get to open up more through song, and I get to grow closer with God.
I like being a part of the choir because I love to sing, and the fact that while I'm doing something I love, I encourage others, enlighten others. It just makes me happy.
Oh, man, the benefit concert is going to be held at Calvert Hall. Starts tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You can buy tickets at the door or online. We have a link to buy tickets at abc2news.com. All right, your take-home pay may have changed because of the new tax law, but is your employer withholding the right amount of money from your paycheck? It's easy to figure out. We'll tell you how. Plus, a new warning before you open an email. How hackers are trying to steal your personal stuff. ABC 2 News is working for you with what you need to look out for. All right, it's official. The top cop in Hampstead has resigned this week, and the town took to Facebook to announce it. They'll soon be looking for a replacement. A veteran of the Baltimore County Police Force, Steve Gossage, took over as the chief back last March. While no explanation for his departure has been offered, the department is borrowing the services of Carroll County Sheriff's Office Major Chuck Rapp to serve as the department's interim chief. And the mayor also is assuring the town 6,300 that service will not drop off during the search, and the officers will still be out there protecting public safety as always. The Equifax breach, bigger than we even thought. Here's what they're telling us now. The credit reporting agency announced today that an additional 2.4 million of us were impacted by last year's data breach. But it says those consumers had less personal information stolen, only names of partial driver's license numbers, like the others who had their social security numbers swiped. Altogether, we're talking 147.9 million people have been impacted because of this data breach. All right, take a look at this. What would you do if you received this email? Maybe you think, hey, I didn't order anything from Apple. So you click on the link to cancel the purchase. And guess what? You were just tricked. It is becoming so hard to tell what's legit and what's not these days. And the problem is only getting worse. This email is the latest example hitting inboxes just this week. Andy Taylor shows us those scammers are out there getting more sophisticated and what you can do to beat them at their own game.
It all starts in your inbox with an email. It's the easiest way for scammers to strike, and they're fishing for your info. And let me tell you something, their bait is pretty convincing.
So these are the types that people will get into their email inbox typically that claim to be from Apple, claim to be from, American Express, whatever company or bank people might be associated with.
Gerben Klein is a senior security analyst. He says scammers are getting more sophisticated with how they approach us.
It's claiming that, you've won something or your account is being closed down because there's been some weird activity with your account. I mean, those are types of emails that get people's attention.
Case in point, check out this email making the rounds, supposedly from Netflix. Pretty convincing, right? It says it needs to verify your billing info. Just click on the link to restart your membership. It even gives you a separate link to visit the help center. And then there's this, supposedly from Apple, saying your password has been successfully reset. Recent research suggests 1 in 4 emails are trying to get your Apple ID, making it the top target of hackers. So what should you do? Never click on the link. That's what scammers use to steal your info. Instead, if you're really concerned, go to the website on your own and check things out. You can also try hovering your cursor over a link to see where it directs you. But there's now new software that doesn't always show you that. Finally, look at the email sender's address. Who sent it? Are there inconsistencies? Sometimes it looks like it's from a family member, a friend, or company you know, but the address doesn't match up. And remember, just because they're phishing doesn't mean we have to take the bait. I'm Annie Taylor.
All right, something else to keep in mind, your bank will never send a generic email requesting personal information to be sent back to it. And check your online accounts frequently and make sure to install firewall and antivirus and anti-spyware in your computer. All right, let's talk about the wind.
Let's talk about the wind.
Is this a nor'easter? Is that?
It's a nor'easter officially. Usually we equate nor'easters with snow, but really it's a dynamic weather system. It can produce a lot of rain if the temperatures are warm enough. We're going to be on the wind side of this system, to say the least. I'm thinking the snow is going to miss us by about 200 miles or so as far as the main core of the snow. But I'll break down how the winds are going to impact us. A high wind warning is in effect, and it will remain in effect throughout the day on Friday, but we are expecting the winds to kick up for tonight, which means out the door tomorrow morning, you're going to be dealing with those winds, and they'll continue to pick up as we go into your Friday afternoon.